So when you talk about making your dash dance, point one, you got to be willing to do it afraid. See, you might be waiting for the fear to stop. So many times we're waiting. I'm waiting to get something right. I see your hands going up. You guys know if it's your truth, you can raise your hand just like we did on day 0. You're just kind of waiting. You're waiting to get everything in order. You're waiting so that everything is in you, it's together. You're waiting to not be afraid. You're waiting to have the courage. You're waiting to have all the money. You're waiting to lose weight. I'm afraid, what do? Do it anyway. I'm afraid, I don't quite know if I should move. Move anyway. I don't know if I should leap. Leap afraid. And then gather your courage on the way down. And if you don't get it before you hit, you was gonna hit anyway. I'd rather die leaping than on the edge figuring out how to get the courage to leap. How does that look? Because your 80% of right is somebody else's 159% of what they needed. When you want to do it right and you want to wait till you're not afraid and you want to wait till you have it all together, oh, you made it about you again. See, Nelson Mandela did it. He just did it not knowing if it were right. Mahatma Gandhi just did it not knowing if it were right. Mother Teresa just did it not looking for affirmation or confirmation. Is this right? Martin Luther King did it not even knowing if it would happen before his life ended. I mean, what are you waiting on? Are you willing to do it afraid? Are you willing to do it knowing that you got so much work to do to get it better, to get it more perfect? But are you willing to do it inside your imperfection? Do you realize that in your imperfection, you're perfect for the job?
Chapter 3, Types of Freight. LTL, less than truckload. How does the LTL model work? Difference between an LTL, common carrier, and a volume consolidator. Carrier integration of FTL and LTL. Double O versus LTL load. Freight classes. There's also truckload, TL, general freight, and produce freight. Consignor procedures. When produce or refrigerated freight is prepared for shipping, it is most generally fresh from the field. When your carrier arrives for their scheduled pickup, the product may or may not be ready due to product availability. They will be waiting online until the product arrives at the shipping location. Produce must be cooled down prior. When the shipment is loaded on trucks or spoilage damage may occur during transit. This will occur because the outer layers of produce that is palletized, whether bagged, boxed, or loose, will cool down to the temperature of the trailer. However, they will also serve as an insulation barrier against the product that is underneath the top layers. Encourage your carrier to exercise due diligence as produce shippers file the most insurance claims on freight because the profit margins of their products are so slim and freight charges are usually very high. Freight charges, rather, are usually very high during peak seasons and areas. Consignee procedures. When produce or refrigerated freight is delivered, most generally consignees have a set of guidelines that they should follow before receipt of the freight. If these guidelines are not followed, the load could be rejected and a claim situation could arise. Here is a scenario of a consignee receiving procedures. Produce must be cooled down prior. The condition of the trailer will be examined. If there are any insects or rodent infestation, the load will be rejected. If the floor of the trailer is dirty, the load will be rejected. Pulp temperatures of product is taken and recorded from each pallet removed from the trailer. Industry standard is tail, middle, and nose of the trailer. These recorded temperatures are then compared to tolerant temperatures for the product. Product quality is examined on each pallet. Refrigerated. Clean and dry, pre-cooled, not loaded above the danger line. Air chute. Consistent temperatures. Consignee will check the freight. Bill of lading. Renegotiate. Carrier at fault. Driver unload. Driver assist. What are lumper charges? Requirements for freight delivery. flatbed and step deck, open top, steel and machinery, dunnage, boards, V-boards, nylon straps, drop tarps, chain protectors, pallets, padded chains, coil racks, canvas straps, sidekicks, lumber and agriculture, machinery, flatbed and step deck, open top, overweight and overdimensional freight, gather the information, required load information, origin and destination, equipment required, length, width, height, trip insurance, model, make and model of machinery, escorts, exact weight, rigging charges, specifications and drawings permits. A permit for your freight is typically required if your vehicle dimensions or weight exceed the following. Dimensions: width 8 feet 6 inches, height 13 feet 6 inches, length single vehicle and load 40 feet, length combination of two vehicles 65 feet, length truck, tractor, and semi-trailer 75 over 65 feet, axles, any wheels supporting one end of an axle, weight 11,000 pounds. Truck tractor steering axle, 13,000 pounds. Single axle, 20,000 pounds. Tandem axles, 34,000 pounds. Maximum gross vehicle weight on all axles, 80,000 pounds. Overweight and over-dimensional loads. Escort vehicles, these could include but are not limited to pilot cars, chase cars, pole cars, state police escorts, frost laws, route surveys, digital survey, physical route survey, general conditions, utility assistance, bonds, specialized carriers and rigging association. Checklist and heavy haul action plan. Steps. 1. Calculate the length, width, height, and overall weight of the commodity you will transport. Know the specific location of pickup and delivery, and have the details of directions to these locations. Determine the equipment necessary for the load. Make the riggers the responsibility of the shipper or carrier. You are a freight broker, not a carrier or rigging company. They specialize in this, but you will do bad things if you get involved. Find the carrier that is necessary for the load. Check his references and insurance if you have not hired him before. When you check the rate confirmation and load details, make sure this is an all-in rate for the load. If this does not happen, you could be in for a ton of accessorial charges when the invoice comes for the transport of the freight. Communicate with the trucking company to determine how long it takes to acquire heavy equipment, hauling permits. If your load is overweight or oversized, a permit is required for every state through which the load travels. The transporting must take place during daylight hours, with exception to a few cities to limit you to nighttime transport because of traffic congestion. You're also set within a restricted number of days because of your permit. Plan the pickup and delivery dates accordingly and allow additional time for limited driving time for oversized and overweight loads. Hazmat freight. Hazmat, hazardous materials, freight brokers regulations. Advise the shippers of discrepancies. Intermodal freight, rail transport, equipment of handling. DOD, or Department of Defense Military Freight, Military Surface Deployment and Distribution Command Freight Carrier Registration Program, U.S. Bank, Bond Performance, Performance Bond, Operating Authority, Inspections, Trading Partner Agreement, EDI, Electronic Data Interchange, Military Freight, Cross-Border, Canadian Shipping Cross-Border, Pre-Arrival, Review System, PARS. The profit, lane management, market price and carrier rate negotiations, final settlements to carriers and advances, fuel advances, COM data, EFS check card, net 30, final payments, co-brokering and double brokering, fuel surcharges, hidden profit. What should I do if I have been double brokered? Ancillary ways to make money. How it works. Independent truck, dispatcher, liability insurance, contingent cargo insurance, errors and omissions insurance, How do I know if a carrier has allowed their policy to lapse? Claims. What constitutes a claim? No specific claims form is prescribed by law, but 4 elements are essential. 1. The shipment must be identified to enable the carrier to conduct an investigation. 2. The type of loss or damage must be stated. 3. The amount of the claim must be stated or estimated. And 4. A demand for payment by the carrier must be made. The claimant's name must be either the entity having title to the goods in transit, the entity assuming the risk of loss in transit, or an assignee of either 1 or 2. Supporting documentation: the original bill of lading, the paid freight bill, proof of the value of the commodities, inspection reports if made, copies of requests for inspection, notification of loss, waiver of inspection by carrier, photographs, temperature reports, impact records, dumping certificates, laboratory analysis, quality control reports, package certifications, loading diagrams, weight certificates, affidavits, carrier passing reports, loading and unloading tallies. 3 different types of freight claims. 1. Freight damaged in transit. 2. Freight lost in transit. 3. Concealed damage. Suit deadlines. Who files the freight claim? What defines a freight claim and how are they filed? Consignee options for addressing damaged freight. Claims frequently asked questions. How do I find the time limits for filing claims against our carriers? Must we notify our own insurance company of a claim against a carrier? Must I use a specific claim form? May I include interest, administrative costs, freight charges, loss of profits, attorney's fees, etc. in my claim? Can I recover a claim from a carrier after it files for bankruptcy? Insurance, liability insurance, contingent cargo insurance, errors and omissions insurance. Transportation to U.S. ports. TWIC cards. What is TWIC? History. TWIC escorts. What is the enrollment process?